to another Connection here on TKO8 Television. Dennis King, thanks for joining us on the Connection Show this week. We try to bring various organizations in each week and talk about what they're doing, how they affect our communities around us, and how they affect you, obviously. And we have some really wonderful organizations. Always takes lots of volunteers, and they couldn't make it without the volunteers. And locally, most of the time, the funding from a lot of these places comes from the local people and stays local and works for the different and various organizations here and people that need the help. Stay with us. Be back in a moment. We're going to talk with two individuals from an organization that's been around for a long time, and they do a wonderful job here. Stay with us on Connection.
When you support a locally owned pharmacy, you're contributing to the growth of a community. The dollars you spend stay right here to support our local community. Hi, I'm Tara Wilmot, and as a Health Mart pharmacist, I have a crucial commitment to our community because just like you, I support our community. All Health Mart pharmacies are locally owned, just like our Health Mart here in Harrison. Sam Alexander Pharmacy on the Square in downtown Harrison. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Plants, plants, and more plants. That's what you'll find at Camps Plants in Harrison. Perennials, annuals, ferns, hanging baskets, shrubs, roses, decorative trees, and the largest selection of garden vegetables in the area. With different varieties arriving weekly, you're sure to find your perfect plant, shrub, or tree at the best price in the area. Camps Plants, in business for over 35 years in Harrison.
Back on Connection here on TKO8 Television. Our first two guests in the studio from the Sanctuary. They've been in to see us through the years several times, but we wanted to have them back, kind of update everybody out there what they do, and also about their thrift shop on the Square. Thank you so much, Tammy Smith, and you brought your other member of the group, a board member with you, of course, Dale Garner. Dale, thanks for coming in. It's always good to see you, Dale. We see you quite often, don't we?
I'm around everywhere.
You're around everywhere. Let's talk a little bit about, to start with, and then we'll kind of get into some other. Sanctuary, maybe an overview of what Sanctuary, the organization, if you would, so people that may not know.
Okay, so we've been here for 38 years in the community. We provide emergency shelter for victims of domestic violence. We provide outreach services, court accompaniment, support group, any sort of thing that a victim would need to be able to move out, be safe, and established in their own home. So we work with them on so many levels, finding jobs, whatever they need when they come in. We try to find a resource for them and get them on their feet. So
several years as time goes by, I couldn't tell you, but whenever the old jail facility became available and eventually you moved in there, it's not a big facility, but how many families, I guess, or units can you handle at one time there?
we have 5 bedrooms, so we can have 5 families with children, or we can double bunk females. So we actually have 14 beds.
Okay.
So we can take up to 14.
Okay. Now that facility, and I should know this, Dale, obviously, but the old jail, do you own it, or who owns that facility? Is it part of the county still?
It's owned by the county.
Still county.
It's
okay.
still county, yes.
Okay, so they provide it.
They provide the building for us, and provide some of the services there to maintain the building.
They do.
And so we appreciate that, and without their help, it would be difficult for us to operate the sanctuary on the budget that we do have.
You know, there are several organizations that we invite in to be on the show, and we talk about different things, but we talk about abuse, child abuse, sexual abuse, obviously spouse abuse, and it can go female, male, male, female, whatever, but it's gotten worse. And the advent of more and more drugs has caused a problem in all the abusive situations, and I'm sure you're seeing the same thing. You know, we have the people from Grandma's house come in and talk to us, you know, and their dealings with the youth and the children. You know, you got the House of Hope with the homeless and the Hope Cottages trying to take in transitional housing for women and children that you know, need a little boost and help. And so it's all part of, we do the court show on Fridays and have for years, and 9 out of 10 that go through criminal court has to do with drugs. The 10th one is drug related, so it's almost like 100% some type of drugs, and I'm sure you see that happening in the sanctuary.
Right, it's a very high percentage of clients that come in that there is some drug-related
Yes.
issue going on in their family somewhere.
Yes,
So,
yeah, and
yeah.
so you have to deal with all the time. As far as in an annual 12-month basis, how many people would come and go? Do you have any idea through the
So with our shelter and outreach services, we serve approximately a little over 500 people through the year.
Wow. And of that, since you do have the outreach, is a biggest percentage outreach, or are they going actually staying in the facilities?
Most of them are outreach.
Are they?
So we're the only shelter in a 4-county area. So we also get a lot of people from Marion County, Newton County, Carroll County.
Okay.
So and those are the ones that are usually our outreach clients, and then the Boone County are usually our shelter clients.
Okay. So I didn't realize that you got out and you got a bigger area than just maybe Boone County. So you
Right, we do. We have an outreach office in Newton County now
You
to
do.
help with orders of protection and that sort of thing with the court system.
Okay.
So.
Your organization, Sanctuary, I'm sure is no different than, like I mentioned, Grandma's house a while ago, but you interact with DHS, I'm sure, and a lot of the other state police crimes against, you know.
Yes.
Is it still part of the circle, I guess? One of the
Absolutely, a
organizations?
very needed part of it, yes.
Needed part of it. I'm assuming the shelter itself, you have to be certified. Who certifies those type of?
We're certified through the Arkansas Coalition Against Domestic Violence. UAMS sets some standards that they expect for all the shelters, and then for us to get funding on the state level and federal level, we have to stay certified to make sure we're doing everything that's in the best interest of the clients we
Right.
serve and that's safe. So
Do you have at the shelter itself? I mean, how do you staff since you're dealing with these situations? How do you staff up? What type of staff members do you?
So our staff members are paid staff. Usually that's through federal funding. So there's a lot of guidelines to, well, what they have to do, their training level, that sort of thing. So, and we've had a lot of staff there that's long-term. Some of them have been there 15 plus years, so they're very experienced. They know what they're doing. And that's really important when you're dealing with victims, to know what you're doing.
Yeah. How many staff, like at the sanctuary, as far as processing people in and out?
We have 8 right now.
Okay.
They're not all full-time, some are part-time, but since we're 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, we have 7 people that cover the shelter part.
Right, of the thing. Another big part of, well, I know you get some federal money, obviously. Of your total budget, I mean, how much is it federal money, would you say, roughly?
Roughly, probably 70% is federal funding.
Is federal funding, okay. So you obviously you have to have federal funding to operate the type of facilities. The other 30%, I'm sure a lot of it comes through your thrift store, is that correct?
Thrift store and community donations.
And community donations. The thrift store, when did you start? I mean, you've moved, but when did the thrift store, Dale, when did you get in? The thrift store was over on the other side.
It was on the west side of the square.
Smaller
A
facility.
smaller store, and we had an opportunity to purchase the building that we're in at this time. It's people who are from this area. It's the old Sims drugstore building, and we completely remodeled that area. And that area is also used for some of the offices, the office space for the sanctuary itself, and freeing up a little bit of space in the old jail building. It was a little crowded at that point, so we did gain some space there, and using that for taking in and recycling some new or used, slightly used furniture and clothing, and helping the community with that, and in addition, helping to fund the sanctuary.
Well, I actually had forgotten that you actually purchased that
Yes.
that building. I was for some reason thinking you were leasing it, but you did purchase that, and that was really good for your organization to be able to do that. And I think you got a pretty good deal on it, if I remember when you bought that. But the other part of it is the convenience. It's right there. You got the old jail right behind you, so it's real convenient.
Yes,
Back
it
and
is.
forth, I would think.
And we did get some storage space with
Right.
with this purchase, and we're able to store some items that are donated specifically for some of our clients who come in as they move out into an apartment. They will have some items,
Okay.
especially for them.
Oh, okay.
So-
I didn't realize you did that.
So some of the donations that we get, the donations are given so they can be resold for financing the sanctuary. Then we have some that donate just items specifically for some of the ladies who move out into an apartment.
Oh, okay.
So which it's a big help to them,
Sure.
and it helps all of us.
Well, yes, I hadn't even thought about that, but a lot of those individuals that are staying there in your facility, once they move out, a lot of them don't have anything, I'm sure.
Right, they
so
have
you got
nothing,
clothes
just-
on their back
right.
maybe, and that's about it. So it's good to have, maybe a little jump start, if you will, if you've if they move out and find an apartment or a house or whatever, they need a bed, they need a couch or something, just some of the most frequently used things
Right.
that you would use in a home. So that's I didn't realize you did that. That's good. We got about 2 or 3 minutes. I don't want to miss anything else you want to bring up. Obviously, you always need volunteers.
Yes.
It's a big thing, like Dale. But you have a board of directors, and I'm sure that's the way you operate the program through those boards.
One of the things that we might mention and get a head start on it, we have 12 months now to promote this. We just finished the Refuse to Abuse 5K run. And with that, that's part of the funding that we have to meet our budget, and had a successful year to get it started this year, and we hope this will be an annual event, and it'll be about 12 months from now. We'll put that on the calendar and come back and do a program on that.
So it was
we
a
start.
success.
It was a success this year, yes. And we have that people can go online. We have it set up. Cody Hudson with the race set up here, and he has an online registration, and people from anywhere can go online and register for the race, and then come to Harrison and be a part of the race. So this year it was mostly local, but we can reach out a little bit farther. If someone wants to come and run for a cause, then they can come and join us and help fund our sanctuary.
Fantastic.
And support a cause.
Don't forget to give us a call.
Well,
We'll get you back involved in that. Thank you both for coming in today, Tammy. Good to come and I came down. Actually, it's my first time upstairs at their shop. Very nice. The way you've got that set up down there. But don't forget, they always need volunteers. They need support at their thrift store. If you've got stuff that you don't need anymore, good used stuff, they could anything from furniture to clothing, whatever. They would certainly appreciate it. Stays right here. All the funds that they make through that stay here. And of course, the sanctuary itself, a crisis aid shelter, and it's very important. And we appreciate both of you. Tammy, thanks for coming in, and Dale for your volunteering and being a part of the program. And we look forward to seeing you again. Holler at us.
We'll see you again.
Stay with us. Be back in a moment. We're going to talk with a gentleman about another operation. It's a facility, fairly new, but it also has to do with particularly families, women, and children that need a place to stay, kind of a transitional housing program. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
We
all need the help of a pharmacy from time to time. Sullivan Pharmacy would like to thank all their customers for supporting them as an independent local pharmacy. When you trade with an independent pharmacy, you deal with an owner that supports the local economy and charities. Visit Sullivan Pharmacy for any of your over-the-counter or prescription needs. It's important to keep helping those that help the community. Sullivan Pharmacy, 731 Main Street, Harrison, serving this area since 1965. Summer is here, and Harness Boots and Shoes has some of the hottest brands and styles available at great prices. With some of the most popular brands such as Chaco, Birkenstock, New Balance, Merrell, Twisted X, and more. Be sure to find the right ones for you. If you don't find the style or color you want in stock, they'll be happy to order them for you. Don't forget, $10 down will hold anything in the in-store layaway. Your boot headquarters for Northwest Arkansas, Harness Boots and Shoes on the west side of the square in beautiful downtown Harrison.
Back on Connection here on TKO8 Television, Dennis King. Thanks for joining us on the Connection Show this week. Our next guest in the studio to talk about actually two different things, but they're kind of all a part of one. Bill Knipe, and with Bill today is Gene Hankins. Thank you both for coming in today. Gene's in her official outfit. Bill's in his traditional street clothes, like I wear a lot.
Right.
But thanks you both. Thanks for being in. The reason I wanted, and Gene came along because we're going to talk about a fundraiser deal for the House of Hope, but I wanted Bill to come back in. It's been several months. They are now utilizing the Hope Cottages, but they're learning as they go forward here, as Bill said, and they've learned a lot because it's different. It's totally different. It's something this community and a lot of communities do not have this type of transitional housing. Just briefly, and I want to get into the nuts and bolts of it totally, but just tell everybody a little bit, kind of quickly, kind of how this started and what it's for, if you would, Bill.
Well, it started. Project actually started 4 years ago.
Right.
Finally started. We went through all the processes. It opened up February 1st, and it's a traditional transitional housing for single moms and their dependent children.
Right.
And so they can stay there for now up to 6 months if needed. In order to make that transition and get them stable, help them get jobs, teach them how to, budget, cook, anything like that, so that once they leave the facility that they can basically stand on their own 2 feet. They may still require, say, Section 8 housing to help them, but still it won't be that situation where they're always basically going out begging for help.
On the streets.
On the streets, right.
Homeless, if you will.
Correct, and it is for homeless. Now, homeless, there are several definitions of homeless. Homeless for us in the context of Hope Cottages is that you're not living in your own place. So you're couch surfing, or you're sleeping in your car under a bridge, things like that. But if you're actually living with somebody else that it's not your house, then that's actually considered homeless as well.
Right, yes, I knew. Kind of a broad spectrum of considered homeless. Okay, so originally you had, you were going to have 8 cottages, so where are you now?
Well, we actually backed that down to 7. The reason that is because one of the cottages was in what we call Building C.
Okay.
Building C also had the kitchen and the laundry in it. Things are already starting to get a little cramped, and then when we talked more with Jeremy Johnson with City, there was concerns about basically safety, and that we would have to put up a firewall in between the cottage itself and the kitchen in that area, and it just seemed logical as we looked at it. So it just made more sense just to actually have one less cottage, but then have more space for the kitchen, laundry areas.
Utility areas.
Correct.
So 7 cottages total. Your 5 are completed right now?
We have 5 completed. We have one building. Building B is the special needs, and so there's 2 cottages there, and so that makes up the 7. And then the other Building C is the kitchen in that. And so we are, we've actually applied for a grant through the Federal Home Loan Bank. We're looking for other ways to do fundraising. We're looking for we may have a 5K run, maybe late summer, to raise funds to help complete those. We were just awarded $2,500 from a golf outing that was sponsored by the country club, the local country club foundation, and we shared that gain with Grandma's House, so they also got probably got the same amount, but we will be receiving $2,500, which is
nice.
Which is huge. It all adds up. It all helps.
Well, it's amazing how much from the beginning that your organization and all the hard work, Gene and yourself and all the other members of the board and the original group that you've come up with on this thing. You've had a lot of donations, matching type things, and that's what it takes. Okay, and then I'm going to get with Gene in just a second. I'm going to let you talk about the Hope House of Hope kind of fundraiser. But first, I want to ask, okay, you've started, you've put some families in, and you're learning a lot as you go forward.
We sure are. We're learning a lot. You know, I don't think any of us had that really pie in the sky. We're just going to walk in. We're always going to, you know, we're always going to get the right person in there. They're always going to work all through the entire program. That's not the case. And so, I mean, we are learning that, and the guests are also learning. And one of the biggest things they're learning is that we have rules, and we expect them to follow those rules. And if they don't follow those rules, they will be asked to leave.
Right.
And so that's kind of what we've run into, is them understanding that we were very serious about it. These rules are put in place. Many of them are simply for their own safety. Right. You know, safety of themselves and the safety of others in the you know, on the campus. So and unfortunately, we've had some who simply didn't want to do that, and so they've left. Some of the things apparently I haven't myself heard it, but there's supposed to be a rumor going around that don't take your don't go into Hope Cottages because they just take away your children. And that couldn't be farthest from the truth. We are there to help that family. Right. But we are also mandated reporters. So if there are issues, then we're required to call. But we don't call just on a whim. I mean, it has to be a very serious, something that we saw that was very grievous, that we felt that needs to be done. And so, I mean, it is a balance, but we are absolutely there to try to make that family become more whole, more useful within our community, and more, you know, for them to build their own self-esteem, and so that when they leave, they can sustain themselves and be able to be, you know, valued members of society and just make themselves feel better about themselves.
You know, the whole concept of what you're doing, obviously, you're offering the services to families that have got issues. Many of them have got drug problems within the family. Could be the husband, the boyfriend, the live-in, or whatever. There's probably been some abuse along the way. Obviously, no stability in job. You know, the children in and out of school, and probably considered homeless in the school program as well. So these are very unstable families that you're having to deal with. And unfortunately, just like we talked about in the previous part of the show, that drugs are always a problem in many of these cases. And so you can't have, you know, you're trying to help the mother and the children, but you can't have a boyfriend or spouse coming in, or you can't have the mother who's trying to get off of drugs, using drugs in your facility.
Correct.
And so you're having to go through this whole process with them, I'm sure.
Correct.
And it causes a problem. I know.
Correct.
We deal with the court system every Friday, so I know how it
you
works.
know what that's like.
Yeah,
and we're in that situation where, I mean, we have told our sponsors and people in the community is that, yeah, we do drug testing, and we, you know, make sure we want to keep people clean in there. And I've never heard anybody say, no, that's a bad idea. No. Every one of them say, oh, that's good, I'm glad to hear that.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, if drugs are the issue, then House of Hope isn't the place to fix that. We have connections with rehab centers to help them with that issue.
Okay, I don't want to run out of time. Let's talk about House of Hope, Gene. you've got a fundraiser coming up, and we really were talking about kind of the crossover, and I don't want to take much time on this, but you know, House of Hope is doing a lot of stuff for these families if they're in the Hope Cottages, because you know, you're trying to get them back in society.
That's right. And part of our I would even say maybe our primary goal at Harrison House of Hope is that we look at each case individual, and we're looking for jobs and housing and stability. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that's our ultimate goal, is for them to become productive members of society. And we're so incredibly blessed to be able to be in this community where there's such community involvement and community support. And just recently we were given $50,000 by an anonymous donor, and that $50,000 is matching dollar for dollar. And this is a wonderful opportunity to double the hope. And that's what we're calling the fundraiser, Double the Hope. We sent this out to our mail out list just a week ago, and prior to that we did what we call a mail out. Every year we write a letter to people who have been involved in House of Hope and given us donations in the past. So we go ahead and we mail out and we give them an opportunity to do that. But this year they have an opportunity to double that. And this goes through August 31st. Okay. And we're pretty excited about this. And, yeah. And as of yesterday, we were just over 10,000.
Wow. Just started too.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow. So it's called, what's it called, Jean?
Well, right now it's called Double the Hope. I just brought our new rack card. That's what this is.
That's okay.
And you'll see this on the back of our shirts now. And we're just saying, take the first step at Harrison House of Hope. You may need some help, and you may be jobless or homeless or near homeless. Come down. Take the first step. We're going to help you any way that we can.
Right. Well, what a great campaign. So don't forget, if you're in the viewing audience and you're watching the show, if you want to support the House of Hope and Hope Cottages, it's all kind of tied together. You're helping people in need. This campaign goes through August 31st, but if you give $1, they've got a donor that puts up another $1, up to $50,000, so they could really raise $100,000. That'd be fantastic if you could do that. So just got just a minute or so. We got anything else on this? But just you'll be hearing more about it, I'm sure. As you
but I want to go ahead and mention that we are located at 600 East Stevenson, right here in Harrison. Right. But our post office box is Post Office Box 1645, and the zip code is 72602 on that one, right?
Okay. Yeah. And also, if you want to give to this program, to this House of Hope program, put on there House of Hope, because they kind of keep them separate, and so this is a part of their campaign. It'll all wind up helping people in need, but that's a good thing for you. Thank you both for coming in today. Bill, I'm glad you updated and got rid of the rumor that you're not sending those children out somewhere else, because the whole purpose is to take care of the family units. Right. And Jean, thank you for coming in, being a part of our program today and talking about the House of Hope. Good luck with your campaign.
Thank you.
We'll keep promoting it for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Connection this week. We hope we brought some information to you didn't know about. Join us each week as we have various organizations come in and talk about what should be important to you, the viewers in our viewing area.
Stop in at White Oak Station on Capps Road in Harrison and fill up with Shell gasoline, the highest quality gasoline with more miles per gallon, saving you money. Sign up for the Fuel Rewards card and save 5 cents per gallon every time. Plus, get an extra 5 cents off on Razorback Wednesdays. That's a savings of 10 cents per gallon. Check out their expanded deli and hot and cold food items. Capps Road, White Oak Station, where customer service is their #1 goal.
Plants, plants, and more plants. That's what you'll find at Camps Plants in Harrison. Perennials, annuals, ferns, hanging baskets, shrubs, roses, decorative trees, and the largest selection of garden vegetables in the area. With different varieties arriving weekly, you're sure to find your perfect plant, shrub, or tree at the best price in the area. Camps Plants, in business for over 35 years in Harrison.
When you support a locally owned pharmacy, you're contributing to the growth of a community. The dollars you spend stay right here to support our local community. Hi, I'm Tara Wilmot, and as a Health Mart pharmacist, I have a crucial commitment to our community because just like you, I support our community. All Health Mart pharmacies are locally owned, just like our Health Mart here in Harrison. Sam Alexander Pharmacy on the Square in downtown Harrison. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.